Hello, and welcome to the Cardiology Podcast, Why We Do What We Do in Cardiology. In this audio series, we will discuss the practice-changing articles in cardiology from the past to the present. This is your episode for today.
In this episode, I will discuss the ATTRibute-CM trial, the efficacy and safety of acoramidis in transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. Acoramidis, a new drug, has been shown to be effective in improving outcomes for patients with transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, ATTR-CM, compared to placebo. The findings of the yet-to-be-published ATTRibute-CM trial were presented as late-breaking science at the European College of Cardiology meeting on the 27th of August 2023 in Amsterdam, Netherlands. The principal investigator is Professor Julian Gilmore of University College London at the Royal Free London NHS Foundation Trust, UK. ATTR-CM is a rare and serious heart condition that is caused by the buildup of a misfolded protein called transthyretin in the heart. This buildup can lead to restrictive cardiomyopathy and diastolic heart failure, which is a condition in which the heart cannot pump enough blood to meet the body's needs due to impaired filling of blood from the lungs to the heart. Previously, a drug called tafamidis was shown to be effective in reducing the risk of death, hospitalization, and decline in functional capacity and improving the quality of life in patients with ATTR-CM. Acoramidis is a newer drug that has been shown to be even more effective than tafamidis in stabilizing transthyretin in vitro laboratory studies. In a phase 2 study, acoramidis was also shown to be safe and effective in patients with ATTR-CM. ATTRibute-CM was a large, international clinical trial that evaluated the efficacy and safety of acoramidis in patients with wild-type or variant symptomatic transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, ATTR-CM. Patients were randomly assigned to receive either acoramidis 800 mg twice daily or a placebo for 30 months. The study's primary endpoint was a hierarchical analysis of 4 measures of patient outcomes: all-cause mortality, cardiovascular-related hospitalization, NT-proBNP, a protein associated with heart failure, and 6-minute walking distance or 6MWD, a measure of walking ability. The analysis was conducted at 30 months. The secondary endpoints of the study included the components of the primary endpoint, as well as the Kansas City Cardiomyopathy Questionnaire Overall Summary Score or KCCQ-OS, a measure of quality of life, and serum transthyretin levels, a measure of the protein that is involved in the development of ATTR-CM. The primary hierarchical endpoint analysis was highly statistically significant, resulting in a win ratio of 1.8, 95% confidence interval 1.4 to 2.2, p-value of 0.001, favoring acoramidis. The primary endpoint analysis showed that acoramidis was associated with a number of benefits compared to placebo, including 25% relative reduction in numerical all-cause mortality, 50% reduction in cardiovascular-related hospitalizations, 39.64-meter improvement in a 6-minute walk distance, 9.94-point improvement in KCCQ-OS score, 7.1 mg per deciliter increase in serum transthyretin levels reflecting transthyretin stabilization in vivo. In summary, acoramidis was consistently associated with clinical benefits in patients with ATTR-CM. This was reflected in the primary hierarchical analysis, which showed that acoramidis won 58% of the ties, with all-cause mortality and cardiovascular-related hospitalizations being the tiebreakers. The overall win ratio for acoramidis was 1.8, which is highly statistically significant. The positive treatment effect of acoramidis was consistent across all components of the primary endpoint, as well as key clinical subgroups and key secondary endpoints. Acoramidis was more effective than placebo in preserving both functional capacity and quality of life, and it also increased circulating transthyretin levels. These findings suggest that acoramidis has the potential to be an effective and safe alternative to tafamidis for the treatment of ATTR-CM. Tafamidis and acoramidis are drugs that work by stabilizing transthyretin, a protein that can build up in the heart and cause ATTR-CM. A head-to-head comparison of tafamidis and acoramidis would be helpful to determine which drug is more effective and safe. Tafamidis is currently the only FDA-approved drug for the treatment of ATTR-CM. Tafamidis is one of the most expensive drugs on the market, with a price tag of $225,000 per year. This has raised concerns about the drug's affordability and accessibility for patients with ATTR-CM. Even though it is effective, the high cost of tafamidis is a major barrier to access for patients with ATTR-CM. More affordable alternatives to tafamidis are needed to ensure that all patients with this serious condition have access to the treatment they need. The price of acoramidis is not yet publicly available. Let's hope it is a more affordable alternative option.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, Why We Do What We Do in Cardiology. The information in this podcast is for general information only for medical professionals and is not intended to be a substitute for medical advice from a qualified healthcare professional. We hope you found this information helpful, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.